DNA from ancient Mongol. Tombs reveals the truth about Genghis Khan's genetic legacy. For centuries, few names in history have carried as much mystery, fear, and fascination as Genghis Khan. He built the largest contiguous land empire the world has ever seen, stretching from East Asia to Europe, reshaping trade routes, cultures, and entire civilizations. But beyond the conquests and military genius, one of the strangest modern claims about him has always been genetic. For years, scientists suggested that a huge number of men across Asia might carry a shared Y chromosome linked back to him. That idea turned into headlines, speculation, and internet myths. But now, ancient DNA extracted from Mongol period tombs and modern population studies are finally giving a more grounded and far more complex answer about what his real genetic legacy actually looks like. The first thing to understand is that the famous 1 in every 200 men is descended from Genghis Khan. Idea was never a literal proven fact. It came from observing a very common Y chromosome pattern spread across large parts of Asia. Scientists propose that it may have originated from a powerful male lineage that expanded rapidly during the Mongol Empire period. Genghis Khan became the most famous candidate for that lineage, but even from the beginning, it was a statistical hypothesis, not confirmed proof. What ancient DNA from Mongol-era tombs is now doing is testing how realistic that assumption actually is. Archaeologists have been studying burial sites linked to elite Mongol clans, including locations associated with imperial family members and high-ranking nobles. These sites are part of the broader historical context of the Mongol expansion period, when political and military elites controlled vast regions and moved across Eurasia at unprecedented speed. The DNA recovered from these remains is not just helping identify individuals, it is revealing how genetic inheritance actually worked inside the Mongol elite system. One of the most important discoveries is that the Mongol Empire was not genetically uniform at the top. Even within elite burial sites, researchers find a mix of lineages rather than a single dominating genetic signature. This matters because if Genghis Khan's lineage had expanded in a direct, uncontested way across all elite structures, we would expect a much stronger and more consistent genetic pattern among noble descendants. This suggests something crucial. The idea of one single male lineage dominating all descendants across centuries is biologically and historically unlikely. Instead, power within the Mongol Empire was maintained through political alliances, marriages, and shifting clan structures rather than strict genetic dominance of one line. Even within the royal family, succession and reproduction were influenced by complex social and military factors, not just hereditary continuation of a single genetic branch. Mongol Empire expansion. During the rapid expansion of the Mongol Empire, armies moved across continents, and elite families were often dispersed across different regions to secure control. So this mobility had a major genetic impact. Ancient DNA shows that Mongol elite groups frequently intermarried with local populations in conquered regions, which diluted and diversified their genetic signatures over time. This means that even if Genghis Khan did contribute a significant genetic lineage, it would have been continuously mixed with many others, making a single traceable pure line extremely unlikely over centuries. Another key finding from ancient Mongol tomb DNA is the absence of a clear genetic superdominance pattern that would match the popularized idea of one man's lineage spreading uncontrollably across Asia. Instead, what researchers observe is regional clustering. Certain Y chromosome patterns are more common in specific areas, but they do not always align neatly with direct imperial descent. It is also important to understand how inheritance worked in Mongol society. Genghis Khan had many sons, grandsons, and descendants through multiple wives and consorts. This already creates a branching genetic tree rather than a single line. Each branch would have expanded differently depending on political success, survival, and integration with other groups. Over time, some branches would grow, others would disappear, and many would merge into local populations. One of the most misunderstood aspects of the genetic legacy story is the difference between possible shared ancestry and confirmed direct descent. DNA can identify patterns that suggest common origin points, but it cannot always assign those patterns to a single historical individual with certainty. Or so, while it remains possible that Genghis Khan's lineage contributed to a widespread genetic cluster, it is equally possible that other related male relatives within his broader clan also contributed significantly. Researchers studying Mongol period remains also noticed something important about burial practices. Elite tombs do not always follow a single consistent pattern that would suggest a tightly controlled dynastic system. Some burials show high status markers, while others are more modest, even within related groups. This variation suggests that social rank and genetic inheritance were not perfectly aligned, further complicating the idea of a single, dominant genetic line spreading uniformly. Mongolia. In the broader region of Mongolia and surrounding steppe territories, the modern genetic studies show a patchwork of lineages shaped by centuries of migration, conquest, and integration. The so-called Genghis Khan genetic signature appears in certain populations, but it is not universal even among groups historically connected to the Mongol Empire. This reinforces the idea that genetic spread was uneven, influenced by geography, politics, and survival, rather than a simple imperial lineage expansion. Another layer of complexity comes from later historical periods. After the height of the Mongol Empire, fragmentation into different khanats reduced centralized control over lineage continuity. Different branches of the ruling family ruled different regions, and over time, these branches became genetically distinct due to local intermarriage. Or ancient DNA from tombs associated with later Mongol successor states shows this divergence clearly. So what does all of this actually tell us about Genghis Khan himself? The honest scientific answer is that we still cannot isolate a single definitive genetic signature belonging uniquely to him. No confirmed burial site with unquestionable identification has been verified through DNA analysis. Without that anchor point, all genetic studies remain indirect, based on elite populations and statistical patterns rather than a single verified genome. But what we can say with confidence is that the genetic legacy of the Mongol Empire is real, just not in the simplistic way it is often described. Instead of one man's DNA dominating half of Asia, what actually exists is a broad and complex network of related male lineages that expanded during a period of rapid conquest and political unification. Genghis Khan is likely part of that network, but not the sole origin of it. In a strange way, the DNA evidence makes the historical picture more human, not less. It shows that even one of the most powerful empires in history was built on a mix of families, alliances, and shifting identities rather than a single, uncontested bloodline. Power expanded faster than genetics could remain pure, and over time, history blended what biology could not keep separate. The final truth that ancient DNA reveals is not a dramatic confirmation or denial of the myth, but a correction of scale. Genghis Khan's legacy is enormous, but it is political, cultural, and historical first, and only partially genetic in a much more diffuse and shared way than popular stories suggest. His impact shaped continents, but his DNA, like all human DNA across empires, became part of a much larger and more complicated human story that refuses to fit into simple numbers or viral claims.